Hi, this is Nicolas Cusson speaking. Today I'm gonna show you the French Revolution, a board game about, you have guessed right, the French Revolution. So, it is a board game for 3 players and it focuses on the debate and intrigues going in the National Assembly during the Revolution. Today we're gonna see how does the debate works within the game. The debate works mainly in that part of the board, which I call the National Assembly. It represents the hemicycle where the deputy debated during the Revolution. It is divided into 7 zones, going from radical left through radical right and through the marsh. Each zone has a polarization value with a printed minimum. It can go up to 3. The marsh is the exception since it has a maximum of 1. Here it is to show which faction the march currently favor. So for example, if the march favor the left, you will place this counter into the zone, and at the end of a debate, if there is still deputy cubes in the zone, they will vote for the left automatically. Those circle counter are the active leaders of the assembly. Each vote that ends up in their zones will count as vote for their party. Now let's see a couple of the statesmen and debaters. Here you can see Robespierre. He is a leader, as you can see from the icon on the card. He also has a scale of 5 located on the upper right corner of the card. Underneath his portrait, he has three different debate action. Underneath that, he also has his party victory conditions. When those conditions are fulfilled, his party wins the games. Here is another type of statement, Robepierre, which is not a leader and does not have a special capability. He has 2 debate actions. Here is another type of statement, which is also not a leader but he has a special ability. Lamette always has 2 influence to spend when he debates. So let's go through all the debate effect. Starting with Robespierre, you can see he has the polarized effect, that blue box with the +1. That means he can increase the polarization of a zone if he chooses so. To do so, Robespierre must roll a dice. For instance, he rolled a 6. And having chosen a section of the assembly, he will have to subtract from his skill the polarization value. If the die roll was less or equal than the result of that subtraction, he would have succeeded. So let's take for example that Robespierre has rolled a 4. He would have succeeded since he targeted his own zone, and 5 minus 1 equals 4. So he would have increased his polarization. That helps him because it makes it more difficult for cubes to come out of the left zone. The second action Robespierre has is recruit, which is the disk icon. Robespierre, when he recruits, must have at least one deputy cube in his section. When he does so, he must spend an influence and he can exchange the cube for one of his disks. This is helpful because disks cannot move out of a zone. They are permanent. The other action Robespierre has is shift to the left. This is the arrow pointing towards a red cube. When he does so, Robespierre selects a zone and moves an amount of deputy that is equal to his skill. Let's take for example that he moves deputy from the march. Since Robespierre has 5 deputy, he can shift them, 5 of them, to the left zone. If, for instance, those deputies were with Mirabeau in the center right zone, Robespierre, still having a 5 skill, would have to subtract 1 polarization from his skill, so he will not move 5 but instead 4 towards the left. Going on other action, Robepierre has a sway action, which is a gray cube with a number and as 4 direction pointing arrows type of thing. That means Robepierre can sway 3 deputy from any zones toward any other zone. But Robepierre has a 3 skill. So that means he would not be able to move deputy out of a polarization zone if that polarization zone was higher than 3. So in this example, Robepierre will be able to move that deputy there, that deputy there, that deputy there. That's 3. And it finishes action. The other action he has is shift towards the marsh, which is the same thing as shift towards the left, but the cubes goes towards the marsh. So that sums up most of the action. The only one I haven't shown you is the reconcile action. You see the king, Louis XVI, has the reconcile action. This is the same as the polarize action, but it decreases the polarization value. So for instance, Louis has a 5 skill, so he must roll a dice. Let's roll the white dice. He got 2. So like the polarization action from Robespierre, he will have to subtract from his skill the polarization value of a zone. He targets the left. So 5 minus 2, it's 3. His result is 2, so that's less than. So he can decrease the value. So that's it for the debates effect within the game.